Welcome to the Know. I'm Ashley Jenkins.
I'm John Reisinger.
Things might have gone from bad to worse for Mass Effect Andromeda. No! Yesterday, we pointed out that a few of the early sort of reviews in progress or impressions of the game weren't being very kind, and we kind of raised the question if there's trouble on the horizon. As it turns out, the answer is yes. Badly animated trouble.
While Andromeda isn't out until March 21st, gamers and streamers are already getting their hands on pre-release copies thanks to various early access programs.
Speaking of which, download faster, Xbox!
Is it still doing it?
Download faster! Yeah, it's because I think everyone's trying to download it right now.
Yeah. And unfortunately for BioWare, the criticism that was a trickle yesterday has turned into a pretty steady stream of snark.
Well, this is the internet. And maybe worst of all, Mass Effect Andromeda is now a total meme machine, forcing the game's producers to respond. It's already grown to that point.
So, what don't people like about Mass Effect Andromeda?
So the biggest issue that people have is with the game's animations, at the moment anyway. More than one person has pointed out that many of the human characters' facial expressions look, well, really plasticky and weird. One character even complains, "My face is tired," which has already become a meme. And you probably don't want the most memorable thing about your game to be a joke about frozen faces and awkward writing.
But the characters in Andromeda also apparently have issues with the walking. Yes, GIFs are already popping up over the internet of people doing silly looking walks, which is only something that should be shown in a Monty Python sketch, not a super serious sci-fi shooter. That's hard to say.
Twitter user Nathan Rennie, who is also an indie game developer, went on a bit of a GIF making rampage, posting over a dozen scenes of fucked up animations from the game, from weird faces to crab walks to punches that don't quite connect. The animations are sometimes honestly straight up laughable. Rennie later tweeted, "I feel bad for the one guy they forced to animate the game, despite having never animated anything before."
Sick burn. But he was hardly the only one who hated Andromeda's animations. Jared Walton from PC Gamer said, "I've got to be honest, the characters look ugly. Those eyes don't look into their dead, lifeless eyes. I'm not even convinced the worlds in general look much better than the last two Mass Effect games."
To add further insult to injury, someone even compared Andromeda's character animations to those of the original Mass Effect in 2007, and the original kinda looks better.
That's not the way games are supposed to work. The issue of weird animations has been raised before when BioWare showed off a trailer of Andromeda during the 2016 Video Game Awards. Even back then, people were raising issues with writers' facial expressions, saying they seemed a bit off, but BioWare said they were working on it. Mass Effect Andromeda producer Michael Gamble tweeted at the time that BioWare will continue to work on the game until someone comes and rips it from us.
So what does Gamble have to say about all this now that the game is out there? Well, this morning Gamble responded to the controversy on Twitter, tweeting, "We appreciate the critiques and memes, but I'm very happy to see how much y'all like the game after 10 hours, and it gets even better." Does it?
We'll see. And it's not just the animations. Andromeda's early story and its writing have also been knocked a ton. Some reviewers have said that the game buries the player with a ton of expositional dialogue to move the story along, which apparently can get pretty tedious.
So it's an RPG. PC Gamer's James Davenport criticized the game's introduction, saying it's not really compelling. Davenport wrote, "Andromeda hasn't given me a single reason to keep playing. Where are the interesting characters, the intriguing side quests and story bits? So far, it feels like Mass Effect fan fiction."
Others have criticized the game's UI and the planet scanning system. There are even some theories that even after 5 years, the game was rushed out before it was ready.
Tim Clark of PC Gamer wrote, in regards to being rushed, "Last week I wrote that I'd be fine if Andromeda ends up being just quite a good Mass Effect game. But today, even that feels like a distant dream. Right now, I'm not sure I even want to play much more, and that hurts given how much I was looking forward to this."
To make matters possibly worse, Andromeda is releasing in a pretty crowded field of games right now. Zelda Breath of the Wild is getting all-time great reviews. Plus, Horizon Zero Dawn, Ghost Recon Wildlands, and Nier Automata are also ranking in a ton of praise. So gamers already have a lot of options, which might make it difficult for Andromeda to find an audience, especially if it's already having the issues.
Or it'll just give it a little bit of breathing room. It may not have big day one numbers, but they have time to put together a crazy animation patch or something, or an exposition patch, and then fix it all up, and then people will play it later.
Totally not rationalizing a bad game.
Forbes writer Dave Thier said that the game will inevitably be compared to all these other open world games like Breath of the Wild that are out now. Andromeda, he said, falls victim to that old trap of throwing quests, gear, and stuff at the player nonstop, which leads to a sense of overload that has crippled the series like Assassin's Creed.
Even Mass Effect fans are starting to feel the heat of the early criticism on the Mass Effect subreddit. A currently popular thread is titled, "Becoming Obvious This Game Isn't Gonna Get the Scores We Were Hoping For, but even so, be nice to reviewers."
Basically saying, don't DDoS them. But not everyone hates the game. There are a lot of people on Reddit posting that they're having fun playing Andromeda's early stages, and even some critics have said that the bad animations haven't turned them off from wanting to keep from playing. So keep hope alive. I can do it. I can do this.
As IGN's Destin Legary tweeted, all critiques said, "I do like Mass Effect Andromeda a lot, but didn't want to blindly praise it. I see the flaws, but still love it."
As for whether some of the issues can be fixed, that's up in the air. I would assume that there will be a day one patch when the game comes out next week, but there's no information about what that might entail. It would take a pretty significant patch to change all the animations.
And the story.
Well, yeah.
Day one story patch. Gotta fix that right up.
We'll just redo the game before
Yeah.
day one.
Big patch, the size of the game. Also known as a new game.
$60.
Yep.
$60 day one DLC.
It's totally normal.
Now, if you want to see what the fuzz is all about, we're going to be streaming the game later today once it finishes downloading.
Yep.
So make sure to check back with us. I'll also be tweeting before we go live, so you can have a heads up if you don't want to sit around on our YouTube page waiting for it.
That'd be good. What do you guys think of the Mass Effect Andromeda controversy? Are the weird animations a deal breaker for you, or are they just fun memes for you guys to play around with? Let us know in the comments.
And for all your Mass Effect news, make sure you like this video and subscribe to The Know. I'm still hoping that there will be that turnaround point. I played Mass Effect. It took me actually 3 times to get over the hump into the first Mass Effect. I kept falling off the same point. It was the Mako. Maybe we just all need to get through the Mako.
Mass Effect Andromeda is the boyfriend you can fix.